Welcome to the Stix episode 23. As you can tell, I am by myself for this week. Hopefully, that's not the case for the next coming weeks. Unfortunately, as I mentioned last week, uh, there was an absolute travesty in Western North Carolina with Hurricane Helene. And so Aiden is dealing with all of that. Um, so, at least for right now, it'll just be me on this podcast. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get started with our favorite teams recaps. Now, I was kind of by myself, but I still will be going over the Patriots and I'll be going over Josh's Bills as well. Um, when it comes to NFL. But for right now, we talk about UNC and Duke. And UNC choked this game away. We were up 20 to nothing going in, or it was no, we're up 17 now going into half, but 20 to nothing early. I think our first drive in the second half we scored. I got a field goal. And we just the offense could not get the ball. They couldn't get the ball moving. They could not get the ball moving, and Duke's Star Thomas ran for like 121 yards on us in the second half, and he was just running all over us, and we couldn't do anything. And UNC chokes this game away. Really, it's a horrible loss. It's the first time the Duke gets the victory bell in 5 years. Um, it sucks. It sucks. Moving on to NIU and NC State. And once again, for I don't know how many weeks in a row, State does not look good. They do not look good, and they underperform, but they do come out with a win. I mean, CJ Bailey has a decent game. Casey Concepcion had like 4 receiving yards. I mean, you cannot do that. But the defense did what they needed to. The defense keeps them in this game, and they win this game by one score. Definitely not what you want out of your team. But I mean, AIU, I guess they're a decent team. They beat Notre Dame earlier in the year, so they have the firepower. Charlotte gets their second win of the year against Rice. I love to see it. You really do love to see it. Charlotte barely wins this one. It was a close one. It shouldn't have been a close one, but Rice isn't the greatest team either. So I think it's funny that both my favorite teams' final scores were 21 to 20. Unfortunately, Carolina ended up winning it 21-20, but still, Charlotte definitely gets a big win heading into this week, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a second. And the week 4 games of the week recap. Starting off with Georgia and Alabama. Final score 41 Bama, 34 Georgia. And Georgia was losing by a lot going in like throughout most of the all of the first half and a good majority of the second half as well. But Georgia came back. They took the lead. They took the lead over Bama, or tied the game. Not took the lead. They tied the game. And then Bama responded immediately. They responded immediately. They go down, score. Ryan Williams gets a 75, and when I mean immediately, like literally the first play on offense, Ryan Williams gets a 75-yard touchdown. And Bama they look dangerous. They look dangerous, and they moved to the number one ranking in this week's AP poll, deservingly. Moving on to a upset. Kentucky beats Ole Miss. And Kentucky, I mean, look, they look they're proven they can contend with these SEC teams. They almost beat Georgia, and they come into Ole Miss and beat Ole Miss. And I mean, you got Barian Brown, who's one of the best receivers in the whole entire country. You have Devon Walker, who's a really good edge, and this team has talent. The talent is there, and obviously they proved that getting this upset huge upset win against Ole Miss on the road. And my offensive player of the week is Ryan Williams. The stats might not be as flashy as like an Ashton Genty, obviously, but Ryan Williams did it on a huge stage against a huge team, and so he's deserving of my offensive player of the week. And our favorite team's game is for this week. Pitt against Carolina. Pitt travels to Chapel Hill. In fact, the last time that Pitt traveled to Chapel Hill, I was actually in attendance. Shout out Kendall. But Pitt is, I believe, they're 3-1. I believe, and Carolina's 3-2, and so both of these teams have the 3 wins, and they are. I mean, Carolina's off a skid, 2-game skid. And so Pitt's coming off, I believe they blew a game to Cincinnati. And so they both are they're both wanting to get wins. And I can't keep falling into this trap, but I will. I believe Carolina can win this game. We're at home in front of the fans. I know we got 70 balled by JMU, but we just need this off the defense. The defense can perform. We just need to be able to stop the run, and we need to be able to pass the ball. Running's not a problem. We have Amarion Hampton. You really could just hand the ball off every single play and hope that works. But eventually, defenses are going to catch on. So you have to mix in the pass. That's why he was so effective last year, like with Drake May, because Drake May was one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football. He can pass. He can beat you with a 60-yard dot. So you have to respect that. Our quarterback play is subpar, and so defenses are not respecting the quarterback because there's no reason to. He's not throwing the ball deep. So they can stack the box and they can easily get run stops on Amarion Hampton, which he's not used to. So it's a whole different ball game for this UNC offense this year. And we need Jacoby Criswell to prove that he can sling the ball and make defenses respect him. Because if we can make defenses respect his arm, then we can win more games through Amarion Hampton. That's just how it is. But I'm picking Carolina in this one. Next, we have Wake State. Wake Forest, they have looked pitiful this year. I mean, State's looked bad as well, but not as pitiful as Wake Forest. Wake Forest just lost to Louisiana last week. So, short, cut and dry. I'm going with State in this game. It'll probably be a 1-2 score game just because State has failed to play the best either. But, I mean, I have belief in State. I do. It's crazy coming from a Carolina fan. I believe in the offense. They need to get it going. Give Casey the ball. Let him run the ball. Get him in jet sweeps. Get him in motion. They don't get him the ball enough. He's your best player. You need to get him the ball. 4 receptions for 4 yards is unacceptable. You cannot have that happen. If you want to win football games, you have to get your best player the ball. And Casey is that best player. It's just, if they do that, they win this game. But if they don't, it might be Wake Forest's game. I don't know. We'll see. The big one for me and my family, ECU and Charlotte. This is a huge game. They're trying to make this a huge rivalry, and I think they're succeeding because fans are out the gates. They want this game. Everyone's excited. At least everyone here is excited. Everyone in Greenville is excited. And this is a good in-state rivalry game. Now, we'll see how this goes. ECU has looked pretty decent. Obviously, their quarterback, Jake Garcia, has not gone in without throwing a pick. And Charlotte has struggled offensively to move the ball. And ECU does have a good defense. So we'll see how that fares up. But I like the thing with ECU is they do have a good run game. And I like Charlotte's nose tackles and D line as a whole. So I like that run stopping unit to be in full effect. The problem is Jay Garcia, though he does throw a lot of picks, has an arm. He can throw the ball very well. So we're gonna see how that affects this Charlotte defense. We're gonna see if he can get going. Hopefully he throws a couple picks. Hopefully the Charlotte offense gets moving in Charlotte. and relays off the crowd's energy because though we might not be the greatest at football, we have the energy. The fans bring it energy wise, and so I'm hoping that Deshaun Purdy and Sherman Kelman can feed off that energy, off those fans' energy, and get this win. Um, and I believe they will. I think Charlotte takes down their in-state rivals for the second year in a row and beats ECU at Jerry Richards. App State and Marshall. App State, obviously, they didn't play a game last week due to the unfortunate hurricanes. And the week before that, I mean, I bet they wish they didn't have a game because that game was absolutely tragic. They get trounced by South Alabama. But they've had a couple weeks. I hope that they are in the right mindset and they go out and they get a win against a pretty Marshall team. And I think they will. I think they bounce back. I think they come pissed off. I think they beat this Marshall team by 2 scores because they know how unacceptable that game was. And the talent is there on this team. The talent is there. They obviously are probably not going to get a year revive bid, obviously, because they already have 2 losses. But the talent is on the roster. I just think you need to pull the pieces together. And that's how it is. I think App State gets it done against Marshall on the road. Week 5, game of the week. Not all good games this week, but I picked Ole Miss and South Carolina. There is like Missouri, and Texas A&M, but I picked this Ole Miss matchup because South Carolina has looked good, and Ole Miss obviously wanting to get a game. They want to get revenge for that loss last week, and they come into William Bryce Stadium, and I think it'll be a game. I think Ole Miss probably wins this one, but South Carolina will not go down without a fight, and that's the fact. If you watch the LSU game, you know the Gamecocks are ready. Moving on to the Week 4 Pats and Panthers recap and Bills, but the Panthers lose at home against the Bengals. I knew this was going to happen. I'm very aware. The Panthers look good. They looked good. The offense looked good. Defense is shaky. Our defense is very, very banged up. We lose Shaq Thompson for the year. We lose Josie Drew halfway through the third. And so the defense is super banged up. They couldn't get a stop. It is what it is. The offense looks good, and that's all I care about. We lost. I knew the Bengals were better than 0-3. So the result doesn't surprise me. I'm happy with the Panthers' play, and it is what it is. Play that I wouldn't be very happy with is the Patriots going to beat 30-13, and it really is just one game plan for every team that plays this New England Patriots team, and that's blitz. Just blitz. The offensive line sucks. They lose David Andrews. He's out for the season now, I believe. Just blitz at him. They can't stop it. They're unable to stop the blitz, and you can just easily get to the quarterback. Jacoby Brissett has 0 time, so that's how you win games. Simple as that. The Niners did that. They beat him on offense. Easy win for the Niners. Patriots do not look good. Speaking of teams that look silly, the Bills look absolutely. They got dumbfounded by this Baltimore Ravens team on Sunday Night Football. And this isn't the Bills team that we know. This is not the Bills team we know. The Ravens obviously really, really good. 2 juggernauts in the AFC facing off. And the Ravens, they have these games. They do this to a lot of people. They did this to the Niners last year. And the Niners made the Super Bowl. I mean, they do this to teams. They make you look silly. They have really, really good games. And the Bills had an off day. It is what it is. It happens. Off games happen. The Bills are still one of the best teams in the NFL. And there's nothing to hang your head on. You just happen, keep your head up on to the next week. That's what it is. Ravens get a huge win. And for the games this week, The Bears travel to Chicago to play the Bears. Panthers travel to Chicago, excuse me, to play the Bears. And I think it might be silly of me to say, but I believe in this team. I believe in the Panthers. They have like this. It's not really a rivalry because I don't think really either team cares. But we make a big trade, obviously to get Bryce Young, give them a haul, give them DJ Moore, give them a bunch of picks, get good players for those picks. Obviously to get Caleb Williams. But they the Bears, the offense looked better last week. Shane Waldron obviously is a problem. Um, they look better against the Rams, getting a huge win for them. The Panthers' offense looks good too, and the defense for the Bears is good. So we'll see how that matches up. But I don't know. I feel like it'd be a high scoring game because I believe in the Panthers' offense. And I know that the Panthers' offense or Panthers' defense is very shaken up, and so the Bears' offense is probably going to move the ball pretty easily. I would say. DeAndre Swift is probably due for a good game. Our run game is not the best, so I would bank on that. I would bank on DeAndre. If you're a betting man, I would bank on DeAndre Swift to get a touchdown. And happen, whether it's rushing or receiving, he's gonna get in the end zone. It's a fact of the matter. And yeah, I think the Bears. I think the Bears and Panthers have a close game here. I'm gonna go Panthers because I want to be biased, but no, yeah, no, Panthers. Dolphins and Patriots. The battles of the absolute garbage teams. That's coming from Panthers fan. Uh, the Dolphins. They suck. Honestly, I believe the Patriots win this game. That's how bad the Dolphins are. They look absolutely garbage. And I think a huge reason for that is the fact that Mike McDaniel has too complicated of a playbook. Tyler Huntley got sent off practice squad last week, and you need to dumb down this offense for him. He can't learn it in 1 week. I know Mike McDaniel is a good coach. I know he is. But I know his playbook is complex, like the Niners playbook, Kyle Shanahan, motion offense, so many guys moving, and it's so hard as a new quarterback to know and trust your guys on those plays. It's just you need to have it down. And on defense, obviously I've said this many times, blitz, Mike McDaniel, or excuse me, I don't know I think what Vic Fangio is the defense coordinator over there. Blitz, Jacoby Brissett. They're without David Andrews. Just blitz. Gives the quarterback. You have Jalen Ramsey. You have a Javon Holland. You have a good defense. You have a good defense. In fact, both these teams have good defenses. This game might be 9-3. The finals going to be 6-3. It's just what it is. This game is going to be low scoring, I think. And honestly think that the Patriots take this one. I do. I think that Christian Gonzalez is gonna play good defense. The whole Patriots defense, they play good against the offense for the offense that is shaky. I think they win. I'm going Pats to get a big win against the Dolphins. I just don't like the way the Dolphins look. Finally, Bills Texans. I think it's the first non-primetime game for the Bills in like 3 weeks. Since they won. The Bills, they're coming off a big loss, obviously. The Texans coming off a big win against the Jags. I believe it was in Jacksonville. To be wrong. But the Bills, I think they're gonna pick themselves back up and get a bounce back against the Texans. The Texans are obviously good. Are good. Could be a Stephon Diggs revenge game. I mean, Stephon Diggs just played the Vikings a couple weeks ago, so he's just going through the whole revenge arc. But I think the Bills win this game. I think that Josh Allen reinstates himself in that MVP conversation because he is that MVP candidate that we know he is. I think he goes for a couple tutties rushing. I think he gets a couple with his arm. And I think the Bills cruise. I do think the Bills cruise in this one. The Texans are obviously a good team, but I don't think they match up well with the Bills. I don't. I have the Bills winning this one. And that'll wrap it up for episode 23 of the Stix. I appreciate everyone listening, and I will see y'all next week. Peace.